Hello and welcome back to another video. Anime Dion here. We are doing What If Deku Had a Bone Quirk Part 2. So yeah, we left off in that video right when Deku had to finish the exam to get into UA. Okay, now let's get into it. Deku had waited for a whole week and his letter had finally come. Deku has no worries because he already knows that he has made the school. He opens the letter to see All Might pop out of it. He says, "Hey kid, I knew you would amount to something. Maybe you're right. Maybe you can surpass me." Deku smiles and he's like, "All Might." He says, "Kid, I remember you. You were there and stopped the and was the one that was fighting against the sludge villain while I was trying to get there. Thank you so much for holding that off. And kid, you have great strong ability. You have even gained first place for the UA practical exam. For UA exams. You got first place by a long shot. And your quirk is great. You even saved this young woman. She even came to the place and said, well, if Izuku Midori didn't have enough points, is it okay if I give him some of mine? But no worry. You got some extra points for saving her. A lot of extra points." Deku smiles. He says, "I knew it." All Might says, "Well, you'll be in 1A, Class 1A Academy. You'll be in Class 1A of UA Academy, starting on Monday. Let's just say it was Sunday. So, see you there, kid." He smiles. He says, "I am here." And says, "I'm out." Deku keeps that thing and he puts it up on his wall. He keeps it going nonstop, but of course volume off just so he could see All Might. It's like a holographic thing. I would keep it too, no cap, if this was real, bro. Oh my gosh, if My Hero Academia was real, I'd be like the GOAT. I already know. I apologize about that, but yeah, Deku is ready for the next. Yes, Deku basically puts that up somewhere and keeps it on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like pretty cool. Like if My Hero Academia was real, bro, I swear I would be the GOAT. Oh, I'll be like the best player. I don't care if I had a trash quirk. I'll make it a good quirk. So yeah, the next day happens. And Deku puts on his clothes and he walks to school. This time he runs because he's so excited. And he gets there pretty fast, of course, because Deku is Izuku Midoriya and his quirk gets him superhuman strength and superhuman speed. Not too fast or not too strong. Actually, really strong strength because he can pretty much lift a car and throw it or kick a car like across the street or something like that. So yeah, and even with more training with his quirk, he can get more durability for his bones. He can get even stronger and even faster. Yeah, and his quirk. So with more training, Deku will become stronger, faster, and have more durability. Now, Deku can go from a 20 floor building and drop and would not be even hurt a bit. No bones broken whatsoever. And yes, that's the opposite of Izuku Midoriya in the original, as you guys may know. Izuku arrives to school, and he's almost a tad bit late. He walks into class as the last one there. Ochako was like, "It's you, Izuku." Izuku then says, "Just call me Deku." Deku says. She says, "Okay, Deku. I actually like the name." Deku smiles. He says, "Well, it can mean like, what does it mean, Deku? Useless, but it can also mean like useful, something like that." She says, "Well, I think it's a cool name, Deku." She smiles and Deku blushes a bit, and as she saw Deku blush, she blushes a bit too. But we're not getting into that. Okay, we're not getting into that, not yet. Okay. So, Izuku basically, walks, gets into the class, and Ida and the rest of the class, they stop when they see him. They all are surprised to see him because he's a hero. He's basically a hero to them already, and has loads of strength and was the first one in the UA. Baku, on the other hand, acts like he doesn't see him or nothing. Ida's like, "Hey, I'm Tinya Ida. I saw you there in the exams, and I think you did very well. Please be my friend and help me." Izuku's like, "Sure, I'll be your friend. I'm Izuku Midoriya. You are Tinya Ida," Ida says. Izuku's like, "Well, I guess I already have two friends at this school." Izuku sits down and Aizawa Aizawa explains, and he comes out from behind the door, inside of a sleeping bag. Some of the kids jump, and Izuku kind of tries not to laugh. He stays quiet. Aizawa says, "Well, you guys were loud. You shouldn't have been taking that long to be quiet. But since it's the first day of school, we're not going to orientation. As none of you know, orientation is useless when you can use this time to become better heroes. So what you're gonna do is go outside over there, and we're gonna take some tests." Izuku smiles. He says, "Well, school is out." Oh yeah, and another thing Deku can do with his quirk, he can like make the bones, right, and he can take them out of his body. He'll still have the rest of his bones because they'll regenerate pretty quickly. And yeah, even if Deku's bones break, it will come back. Like his bones will fix if he needed them to. So basically, if Deku wanted to make like a bone let me think, a bone statue, and he didn't want to be attached to it, he could just let it go from his body and it'll have a bone statue. He could touch it like it's normal. It'll just be made out of bone, which is pretty cool because it's a tough material, as you guys may know. Izuku then what's it called? They get down, and then Aizawa explains there'll be these multiple tests to test your strength, speed, and like and your quirk usage, and stuff like that. It's Izuku and them. They already had gotten their stuff. I'm not gonna really get into that because that already passed, and I don't want to get too much into it. So yeah, Aizawa explains. He says, "Izuku Midori, as first place for the exams, I advise you to go last. The rest of the kids will go first. Just like in the original, the kids get the same. Bakugo, on the other hand, get a little higher than he got in before because he has more of an encouragement to be stronger because of Izuku as a challenge for him. Challenge to overcome. The rest happens, and now it's Deku's turn on the throwing test. Aizawa says you can do anything in that circle as long as you, and the thing you're supposed to do is get that ball as far as you can. Deku's like, a baseball. Throwing it, if I throw it, it will get pretty far because of my strength, but it wouldn't get as far as I could get it. Deku says to himself, I got the idea. Aizawa says, hurry up, boy, you have 2 tries. The class watches Izuku makes a bat made of bone out of his hand, and he takes it out and he grabs it. The kids are so amazed that he did that so quickly. Aizawa looks at Izuku and is kind of wondering. Get the ball as far as you can, Izuku. Izuku throws the ball up into the air, and he hits the ball with a bat. It goes so far because of his excellent strength and the strong bone, and the accurate hit with the ball. It goes so far, it gets even higher than Bakugo's swords. It gets 1,272 meters. Of course, he did not get first place. Yes, he did. Actually, he got first place for the throw. Oh wait, no, second place because Uraraka got first place because she got infinite. Aizawa sees this and he says, "Kid, make a bone." He makes a bone out of his arm, and Aizawa stops stops his quirk. But all that happened was the bone didn't go back into Deku's arm. It just fell. It just like came out. Deku grabs it and he's like, "What's up?" He says, "Why is the bone still there? It's a solid material. I can't make it go back. I can't put it back in my arm if you stop canceling out my quirk. But other than that, yeah, it's a solid thing. Even if you cancel my quirk out for a bit, it will stay alive. Not alive. It will stay out. It's just a thing made of bone, basically." Aizawa stops glaring at Naruto with his vision, and I said Naruto, at Deku with his vision, and Deku puts the bone right back into his arm. Deku explains to Aizawa what his quirk is, because he can tell that Aizawa wants to know more. Deku says, I have a bone quirk. Basically, I can manipulate all the bones in my body, and my bones are extra durable. By extra, I mean really durable, and it gives me a lot of extra strength and a lot of extra speed. Aizawa smiles. He says, this is an interesting one. Deku says, yeah, so I can really make materials out of my quirk. I could do anything with these bones. The only thing is, they're made of bone, so It's basically super strong material, and I get extra strong and have extra durability. So next test, speed. All the kids do the same thing, just like in the original. Bakugo gets the same thing too, because of speed. It doesn't really has much to do with that. Deku, on the other hand, on the speed one, he didn't have much but his supernatural speed. Tiny got the highest with speed because of he got 3 seconds, I think, in like the 50-meter dash, and Izuku got about 4.5 seconds, which is also pretty fast because of his extra speed. If it was a longer distance, he probably would have gone faster because it takes long. Like in real life, this is a real life thing. Even Tiny said if it was longer, he could have went faster. It's just if it was longer, he could have built up his speed more Izuku could have built up his speed more and went faster. So yeah. Then it's like grip strength test, and then Izuku got he used some bones, he took his bone out of his body and he squished it as hard as he can, using the bone to add extra strength, and he got even stronger than Ojiro. I think that's his name. Ojiro's the one with the octopus arms, as I think. They get through the rest of the test. In the first place was Izuku Midoriya. Second being Bakugo Katsuki. Third being Momoyara Rozu. Fourth being Katsuki Bakugo, and so on. Last place, though, was Minoru Mineta. But, of course, Minoru Mineta did not get kicked out because Aizawa didn't say, just in this one, he did not say whether or not he was going to get kicked out or not. So, yeah. Basically, the whole class got good. Aizawa, All Might sees Izuku do this, and he's like, I must give him support, but I don't know if he'll accept it. His attitude. Because, All Might was watching the whole time, just like in the original. It's like he doesn't have a certain attitude. It's not that. It's just, he's the type of person to get through things on his own. All Might says to himself. Aizawa and the kids walk out, and Aizawa says, you're interested in him too, correct? All Might says, yeah, that Quirk's kind of similar to you-know-who's. Aizawa says, And yes, there's a certain you-know-who, but you guys are not going to know that until, near the end, so yeah. Basically, Izuku and the rest of Class 1A get through that day. So, after that, of course, just like in the original, they go on a field trip. It's about a week later, and the field trip starts. In this field trip, Izuku and the rest of the UA, by the time this field trip happened, they did a little bit of training. Izuku does training on his own all the time, so every single day he gets stronger and stronger and gets smarter and gets even better with his quirk. Izuku, basically on the way to the field trip, some of the kids ask, hey Izuku, can you do something with your quirk for me? Can you make a doll made of bone? Izuku says, yeah, but it won't really have color because it's bone. I mean, you can paint it if you want. Mina's like, okay. Izuku makes a doll made of bone, and Yaoyorozu says, what would happen if I said Momo, Mina, she throws it on the floor and it doesn't break. Deku's like, it's not going to break. Not easily whatsoever. It's a bone. And my bones are extra durable. They're not weak bones. They're super strong bones. Deku says, Mina's like, so I have an indestructible doll. He says, pretty almost. They arrive there. And the hero, it's not Washer, I forgot her name. But, the one with the Black Hole, I think that's her name. Or that's just her quirk name. Yeah, the one with the black hole, she basically shows them and introduces them there. But as she is introducing them and telling them about the different art exhibits while they're by the entrance, they see a black portal open. They say, cool. Kirishima shouts, cool. Is that part of the thing? Is that part of the simulation or whatever that's called? And the lady says, no. It's an invasion. Aizawa, go. Tiny says the lady, go run all the way there. Go run all the way back to the school and get some people. Because the telephone stuff was not working, just like in the original. I said original. So yeah, basically, Tiny runs there as fast as possible and goes to get them. At this point, Deku knows that somebody's gonna come and that portal's gonna get there. Right when he thoughts that, the portal goes above them and tries to capture them. It captures Deku and Sue and Minoru Mineta. They're all trapped on this boat. Basically, the portal teleported. Basically separated all the kids, rendering them weaker. And there's a bunch of mob villains coming out. Aizawa goes straight into fighting a whole bunch of them, and is basically beating the crap out of them with ease. You know what I'm saying? He's different. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And and after that, Mineta. We're going back to Izuku's part. Izuku, Mineta, and Sue are trapped on there. Izuku knows. Izuku says to Sue, "It's been an invasion. Best thing is not to stay here because there's probably villains in the water. As you can see that there's villains surrounding other people." Just as Izuku says that, he looks down and sees a villain. One of the villains have a giant claw coming out and slashes the boat in half. Sue says, "No worry, Izuku. I am the strongest underwater. Strongest one underwater." Izuku says, "You can do much underwater. Go down there, Tsunade. Here's some bone you can put around your fist to make you even stronger." And no, it's not like super thick, because if it was super thick, it would be too heavy and she would drown. Well, she wouldn't drown, but it would be a little heavy and render her weaker. It's just a thin layer of bone around her fist, so it will make her stronger. A bit stronger. Her punch is stronger. And it's thin, but it's still strong because, as was said, Deku has different bones. About right, you could stick to walls. Do you have enough strength to carry the both of us? She says, "Well, I have enough strength to carry Mineta, but maybe not you." He says, "Well, I'll be fine." Izuku basically, he says, "I have a plan." He makes like this giant board made of bone, and it's like kind of like pointy at the end, so it's like a twisty thing. It's like basically it's something you can twist, right? He twists it as much as possible and throws it into the lake, causing a little bit of a whirlpool. So some of the villains get in there. Some of the villains get caught in the whirlpool. Deku says, "Mineta, throw those balls on your head." Pause. Deku says, "But you know what to do." Mineta laughs. He says, "Yeah." And he throws all of the villains on and captures some of them. This causes Deku to jump up and make a hammer out of, not a hammer, a bat, just like how he did before, out of his thing, and smacks all them villains. He jumps up out of the water over and over and smacking them all. And he ends up beating them. They pass out and they end up going underwater. Izuku and Mineta and Sue make it out to shore. And as they make it out of shore, Mineta does this whole perv thing and grabs, what's the part on her part, you know what I'm saying? Just like how he did in the original with his pervert self. So yeah. Izuku then gets over there and he ends up seeing Todoroki, Kirishima, just Todoroki and the Invisible Girl. He barely noticed the Invisible Girl because of her boots and her hands. What's going on? Izuku sees that they're struggling a bit and that Todoroki does seem to be handling it pretty good. But he also noticed that there's a little bit too much. Deku tells Sue and Mineta to get up there and get to safety. They leave and they say, "Okay." And Sue's like, "Wait, where are you going?" "Well, Deku says, "I need help." He runs over to Todoroki and he smacks a whole bunch of people. He makes a giant fist out of bone and punches them dead all of them in their skulls, knocking them out. Probably even fractured their skull or broke it and stuff like that. Deku smacking all of them. Todoroki says, "I don't need your help." He says, "Sure you don't." Deku's like, "Well, this is my new move I made out of the test you remember on the first day of school." Todoroki's like, "Well, let's see it." It's that big guy right there. He makes a ball out of bone and a bat out of bone, and he hits it so hard that it even flames come from the back of it, and he hits the dude dead in between his eyes, knocking him out. This knocks the dude out pretty quickly, and Todoroki's impressed by this move. And Todoroki And then Izuku tells Todoroki, you're strong. We need to go help the others. They end up going to this fireplace, the fire building place, and sees I said Ojiro was the dude with a bunch of arms, right? I think I was wrong. Ojiro was the dude with the tail. Yeah, Ojiro. They see Ojiro, the kid with the tail, and they say, hey, you need any help? He says, yes, there's a lot of bad guys coming. They look and they see a few bad guys. Deku goes over there and he uses his fist not uses his fist. He covers his fist with bone and he punches the crap out of one of them. So bad that it scared a few of them off. Yes, it scared a few of them. Oh, and keep in mind, for those saying, oh, like, what about the whole thing with All Might and the whole test inside the building? I'm not gonna do that because that arc is it's not really good, and it's not my favorite part. It's probably one of my least favorite parts of the show, and I think it's pretty much of a time waster, kind of, to an extent. We could say that they did it. Yeah, they did it, but I'm not gonna go over it. So yeah. This happens, right? And by the time Deku and Todoroki get the beat the place in the fire, they go to the middle where Aizawa is. Aizawa notices there's a person named Shigaraki in the back. He says, I'm Tomura Shigaraki. And I've come to kill All Might. He says, but All Might's not here. And he scratches his neck. He's like, so irritating. Since All Might's not here, I'll just kill a lot of you. He runs up to one of the bad guys and he's like, how are you gonna kill him? Boss, he says, boss, you fool. And touches the bad guy and kills him. He says, I'll kill you just like that. With all 5 fingers. All Might arrives because of Tenya's Ida's help, and he arrives and comes. Shigaraki smiles, he says, All Might, I'm not here to defeat you. I'm just here to kill you. The one here to defeat you is Nomu, she calls out. Nomu comes and punches All Might dead in his gut, causing All Might to be hurt pretty badly because All Might is strong. Because what's it called is strong. The Nomu is really strong. We all know this. Nomu then goes up to Nomu then ends up fighting All Might. Naruto sees that All Might's struggling a bit with this Nomu, and he I said Naruto. Deku sees this and he runs as fast as he can. He runs with all the speed that he's got, making even like a bones it's like a board, but it slides on its own, making him go a little bit faster. He does this, and when he makes it there, he grabs the board from his feet, and he hits the Nomu right in its chest, causing the Nomu only to go back barely a little bit, as if it barely even affected him. Deku stands there as he has a plan, but the Nomu goes straight for All Might. With this plan, Deku stands there, and as you guys should know what he's doing, he stands there still, and he uses the bottom of his feet to make a boom going straight to the ground, all the way to the Nomu. He uses these bones to wrap all around the Nomu with as much bones as Deku can use. These bones detach from Deku, and Deku says, Deku says, "You're done. Well, Nomu, you're captured. All Might, finish him." But what All Might and the rest, and Izuku and the rest of the kids and everybody sees is that this Nomu is starting to crack through the bone. Deku sees and he's like, "My bone! There's no way!" And the Nomu escapes and goes straight for Deku, and he punches Deku right in his arms as Deku blocks them, and that's where we're going to end off this video. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll be updated on my daily uploads, and peace out.